Hello everyone, welcome back to another 2v2 Warhammer battle. This is going to be a small, fun, but normal unit size match. We have Greenskins and Bretonia versus Greenskins and Norska. Originally I wanted to do a build of just a good old-fashioned wall with a bunch of cheap orc boys and things like that, but when facing off against Norska and the threat of mammoths, well, an orc boy army could get killed by one mammoth, so I changed it up a little bit. Did not do what I wanted to do initially, but here we go. So we have two gobos, sorry. We have one orc boy, three orc biggins here, and here, being led by an orc war boss on a flying wyvern, and then the Arachnarok queen, who is pretty good at taking out enemy mammoths. Then all the way over here on the flanks, we have a group of knight goblin squig hoppers. My ally is being led by King Lumen Leon Kerr. Their main battle line is a battle pilgrim, spearmen at arms, and then the beast slayers of Baston. Two peasant bowmen with fire arrows, and then the Knights of Linehearted and the Knights of the Realm over there. For the enemy Greenskins, we have three gobos, three Night Goblin archers, two Goblin big bosses, and a Goblin great shaman right here. Then there is a group of black orcs here, the Crimson killers there, and then two of the Doomed Davert catapults. Then the Norskin did not actually bring a mammoth, which I had expected them to bring, but they didn't. Instead, they have two Marauder Berserkers, two Marauders with great weapons, a Premier Balefiend of Shadows, Wolfric the Wanderer on a horse, two of the Norskin Ice Wolves, and then the Maws of Savagery. And that is what they have. So I want to try and get my Squig Hoppers over here, but then we see that there are some Black Orcs way out here, and they're kind of isolated, so I'm like, well, let's try and deal with them first if we can. But I want to try and get my Arachnarok Queen in there and then charge with my Orc War Boss at the same time. I don't want to leave my Orc War Boss in the middle of Black Orcs by themselves. So we're going to wait for the Arachnarok Queen, who is now moving back because she's in a locked group who's... Anyway, she'll be moving up here soon. Meanwhile, there are gobos that have the good shields getting pummeled by the Night Goblin archers, which is fine. I'm going to try and get some forces over here because this goblin line is rather small, because they wanted to originally chase, I guess, King Lumen Leon Kerr, which is why they pulled these units back. And you see King Lumen has already routed off one of the Doomed Davert catapults, now being chased off by Marauder Berserker. Right here, I'm going to try and slow the Crimson Killers to buy my Night Goblin Squig Hoppers more time to kill these Night Goblin archers. And now we're going to try and slow down these Black Orcs, run into them with the Spider Hatchlings and the Arachnarok Queen. We have an Orc Biggin over here, and the Goblin's going to go over here, and another Orc Biggin over here as well. Meanwhile, our Gobos and Orc Boys are going to be dealing with the enemy Gobos. This Orc Biggin's going to be running into these Night Goblin Archers, and we're going to cast a couple spells here and there with the Night Goblin Shaman, but besides that, they're really not going to do too much, at least right now. I think this is actually, there we go. We have an Itch Nuisance from my Goblin Shaman, and then a Wall from our Orc War Boss to try and finish off these Black Orcs. You can see the Crimson Killers were actually still chasing my Night Goblin Squig Hoppers, who have disengaged from there. Did a recharge on these Gobos. Now they're going to go into these Night Goblin Archers and then move straight through to the one Doomed Davert catapult that is left. Meanwhile, we're still getting a flanking action here with the Gobos. My ally is going to be engaging against these Berserkers. Actually managed to charge them, I believe, which is what you want to do. Over here, Wolfric the Wanderer and the Maws of Savagery and Frost Wolves are going to be taking out the Knights of the Realm, being backed up by the Beastmen and pummeled by these archers. But you see these other Norse Knights Wolf got into the Peasant Bowmen there. Other Knights of Linehearted were dealing with these Gobos and the Night Goblin Archers. There goes another Itchy Nuisance from me, I think. No, that's from the enemy. Sorry, that's the enemy's Itchy Nuisance. From the Great Goblin Shaman that's over there. Meanwhile, we are cutting off these units that were trying to run away from the Arachnarok Queen, so we're just going to do some more damage to them and now chase them off the field that way. Arachnarok Queen is going to go over here to try and finish off the Crimson Killers, who are being assisted in killing with the Spider Hatchlings, Orc Boys, and, Orc Biggins, and the Gobos. So we're going to just slam right into them, and they are isolated, and now they're going to be destroyed. Night Goblin Squig Hoppers have dealt with the Doomed Davert catapult, so we're going to go back over here to a rear charge on these Berserkers, who are doing a really good job against these Bretonian infantry right there. And you can see the other Berserkers routing off the Men-at-Arms there. Marauders with great weapons routing off, basically the entire front line is being routed off, except for the Beast Slayers of Baston, who are engaged with the Maws of Savagery, which should not take this engagement. It was fine with them fighting the Knights of the Realm, which I believe they either killed or there we go, they routed them off. But now they are fighting against the Beastmen, which is not, or the Beast Slayers, so they should be disengaging here. But instead, they're going to get rear charged by the Knights of Linehearted and what remains of the normal Knights of the Realm. Meanwhile, back here, my Orc War Boss is trying to destroy this Goblin Great Shaman along with the Night Goblin Squig Hoppers who disengage from the Berserkers. We're going to run some Orc Biggins over there to try and assist the battle programs of what's left of them. Meanwhile, back here, we're going to try and reroute this little pocket of resistance, get the Arachnarok Queen out of here. I think she initially goes there, but we're going to funnel her over in this way. And the Night Goblin Shaman and our Orc Boys here are going to be in charge of dealing with these routing units to make sure they do not come back. We are going to also deal with this Goblin Big Boss who's going to be trying to destroy my Goblin Shaman. Meanwhile, back here, we are still trying to get rid of the Great Goblin Shaman. We finally get them to rout, so I'm going to stick the Night Goblin Squid Hoppers on them, and the Orc War Boss is going to go over here and try and assist with these Marauder Berserkers. Again, I believe I get the Ragnarok Queen over here as well, because I want to try and keep our units together. As you can see here, King Lewin is trying to just run away from, I believe Wolfric is over here, some Ice Wolves, and then the Marauders with great weapons. My ally does not have too much left, but they did manage to rout the Mauls of Savage. You can see them going off back there. They do still have a couple nice Lion-Hearted, but a lot of their forces have taken the pummeling. But that's okay because I am still here, and my forces are still relatively okay. They've taken some damage here and there, but we are routing off this Goblin War Boss. These guys routed off one of those Black Orcs, I believe. Now they're coming back. We're dealing with this Goblin War Boss here, or sorry, Big Boss. And then after we kill or deal with the Goblin Big Boss, we're actually going to pull these units back over this way to try and amass a force to deal with what's left of the Norskins. As you can see here, the Familiar with Balefiend is going to start charging our Ragnarok Queen along with these Marauders with great weapons and Berserkers. I'm going to take this charge. That's fine. And I'm pretty confident right now because the enemy doesn't really have much to deal with a full health Ragnarok Queen. So I'm like, I think we may have this one in the bag. Gonna drop the War Boss in here, deal with these Marauders and Berserkers. Gonna throw in these Orc Biggins as well. There goes another wall, I believe. Yeah, another wall, but we're getting hit with the Withering from the Familiar Balefiend. Meanwhile, over there, we did make this Goblin Big Boss route, and we're just gonna leave them back there. And again, we're gonna try and move up here and deal with the Norskin, who is still trying to kill King Lewin, doing a lot of good damage, making him route there with Wolfric and the Ice Wolves. What else do they have? Over here, the Goblin Great Shaman is about to die to the Night Goblin Squid Hoppers. I just wanted to leave them on here. I didn't want him coming back because I want him to die, and that will get the morale check, or not morale check, but that will lower the morale of the enemy units. So I'm going to try and finish killing him. Norskin Ice Wolves coming in, but they have quite the job ahead of them to deal with a Orc War Boss on a Wyvern and an Ragnarok Queen with Little Spider Hastlings. We're getting some Orc Biggins reinforcements who pulled away from chasing some routing unit that was over here. King Lewin does come back from routing. Luckily, he's going to come over here and join my forces. They still do have Wolfric, who is, oh, there we go, in the middle of this combat. So now we're dealing with him with the Ragnarok Queen and the Orc War Boss. He's a little bit outmatched right here, along with what is left of their army. You see more reinforcements from us still about to come over there, but they are not going to be needed. That is going to be a GG for the forces of the Greenskins and the Bretonia. The Greenskin player that I was fighting, they just did not have the tools necessary to destroy a Orc War Boss and a Ragnarok Queen and the very fast-moving Night Goblin Squid Hoppers that were able to kind of just chew through those Night Goblin archers. Like, you'll see the kills on them. 135. A lot of those were the Night Goblin archers, and then some of those were obviously the Doom Diver catapults, a little bit of the Berserkers, but most of those are Night Goblin archers, so we took almost all three of them out, or at least two of them out, with this very relatively inexpensive Night Goblin Squid Hopper. Like, these guys are still pretty good. I don't see them used too often, but they're pretty good. Besides that, Orc War Boss 46 kills is really good. Orc War Boys did really well. Biggins always do pretty good, as long as they're not overwhelmingly outmatched, like just fighting a bunch of Black Orcs by themselves, then they can usually do pretty good. And again, the Ragnarok Queen, there like really wasn't much that they had to shut her down. There wasn't really a high damage dealer that could pierce their armor. Like, they had the Black Orcs, but that's why I try to keep the Ragnarok Queen and the Orc War Boss next to each other, so we can just kind of pummel those really high damaging units really quickly. Even still, though, they got 137 kills, these Crimson Killers, before we managed to rout them. But you can see that these Night Goblin archers, which are about 1,500 of a army that you can only bring 8,600 in, so it's kind of a big chunk. They were not able to do too much because we just pummeled them with these Night Goblins. And then the Goblins in the front line, even though they're upgraded, they could not take Orc Boys and Orc Biggins, so I was able to kind of just steamroll through them for the most part, which then allowed me to overwhelm what was left of the Norskins. And you see they got a ton of kills, because they wrecked my allies' infantry and most of their cav, though this cav did get a decent amount of kills. And even the battle pilgrims, 118 kills. I'm kind of surprised. They held their own against those berserkers, maybe because they were upgraded, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure battle pilgrims should lose to berserkers, like, hands down. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I doubt those chevrons helped that much. Anyway, I don't know. But anyway, good game to K-Jax, Nopian Fluids, and Jerusalem. Let's go watch a cinematic view of this battle.
Go, go, go!
So because I was trying to counter a mammoth build from the Norskin, I ended up actually bringing an army that the enemy didn't build to counter. They didn't really have anything for this Ragnarok Queen. Maybe a focus firing of the Night Goblin archers could have eventually withered her down, but, well, we didn't let that happen. I'm not entirely sure how the Malls of Savagery would do in a 1v1 against her. Not sure.
Bring us to battle!
And you can see these very slow Black Orcs are trying to chase down the Night Goblin's Quick Hoppers. And I'm just like, that's not gonna work. Although the Crimson Killers do reach us. We got Gobbo on Gobbo action here. Guess I kind of forgot to run these biggins in for a while. There we go. Oh, it was an impressive looking boat.
Is that all you got? Damn it! Go, go, go! That's good! Doing it!
we go. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you all in the next battle. Take care.